Yeah, you know what time it is. Anytime you see the lady singing in the slow beat, bringing Big Vern in the booth doing his thinging. Ha ha! We had a huge, a gigantic show today. We talked some Notre Dame. Notre Dame should be actually put in prison for what they did to Arkansas and Lafayette, just giving them a beatdown of epic proportions. We covered that. The Lane Kiffin revenge tour rolls on. He beats the brakes off LSU and punks them out to the point where Brian Kelly was even pleading with his O-line to show some heart and some guts and some testicular fortitude and at least block for Garrett Newsomeyer, the super duper senior. Kentucky. Y'all got some problems. Y'all looking shaky, baby. Big Blue Nation, big blue disappointment. Y'all paying Mark Stoops a lot of money to fail. Y'all paying him a lot of money to fail. And something's gotta happen, Mitch. I'm not saying now, but you're on the clock. Then we talked about the Friday night double overtime epic classic between Virginia and Florida State. You got our thoughts on that. Louisville, L1C4 for life. They outlast Pitt. And I still don't believe in Miller Moss. However, props to Brian Braun for cracking the code and allowing the Cardinals to score a bunch of points out of nowhere in the fourth quarter. Then respect my gangster, the Fighting Illini. They beat up and punk out USC on the road, and it was a great win after the debacle in Bloomington. Find out what we thought about that. Then last night's white game, double overtime classic between the Oregon Ducks and the Pitt State Nittany Lions. That was actually a rematch of the Big Ten game last year, championship, and it did live up to the hype. Find out our thoughts on that. However, going to go ahead and close this out with Duke. For whatever you think of Coach Diaz, Duke football is a thing. We'll go over that when we get back from a quick 20 from a rap album. It's your boy, Big Vern. Give me a beat. Ba-bum. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we do. We pushing another rap album. Joey Badass. It's Lonely at the Top. In stores now. Get it where you legally consume music, whether it be Apple Music, Google Play, or Spotify. My personal favorites on the track is going to be Dark Aura. That's cold. That's cold. Swank White. Super Flea. High Roller. BK's Finest. BK Finest is wow. Underwater. That's probably one of my favorite songs. I was listening to that before I even cut this spot. Speeding Through the Rain Still with Absol and Rhapsody. My goodness. Lonely at the Top, the entitled track itself. Joey Badass. Don't sleep on this one. Very good buy. In stores now. Yo, shout out to Joey Badass, Brooklyn doing your thing. Is Brooklyn in the house? So, not gonna hold you, man. Duke just straight up embarrassed Syracuse at home. Now, fresh off the massacre of Clemson, the Dukies, they rolled into JMA Wireless Dome to face the Orangeman. And this guy brutal. It was 24-3 at the half, and it didn't get much better for the good folks in Syracuse because they didn't do much to talk about. Again, this was another one where you could have called the cops because Coach Diaz and the Dukies, they showed up to Syracuse with the ass whooping stick and they proceeded to beat as much ass as they could. Child abuse on all levels. You can't beat a dog like this and not go to jail. They got a gentleman's 40-piece at home. Really, Fran, you got a gentleman's 40-piece at home. After a masterful game, you went up and beat the brakes off Clemson. You came home to do this? As it looks, Syracuse should have just stayed on the road. Now I know. Steve Angeli, that's their quarterback, their starter. He wasn't there. So 503 total yards of offense, 268 through the air, 235 on the ground. That's good for about 7 yards of play. Sheesh. The Dukies. Darian Mensah was having none of that. They just crushed the Orangeman in every way, in every facet of the game. 23 first down, 6 of 13 on third down conversion. Listen, folks, I'm surprised the Dukies punted 4 times. Again, straight child abuse. You can't beat anybody like this with their knowledge and not have charges pressed against you. The Dukies should have never made it out of Rochester without going to see anybody in court for the case they hung on the Syracuse Orangeman. This was just bad. It was an ass kicking of epic proportions. Now, how bad was Fran and the boys? Duke spotted them 9 penalties for 105 yards. I repeat, 9 penalties, 105 yards, and y'all still got y'all ass kicked. Come on, bro. They gave you a whole football field and you only scored 3 points? A whole football field. Just so we clear. Ricky Collins, he was the backup. And again, it didn't go well for Collins. That was probably a game he liked to forget. 24 of 37 for 229, no scores, and a pick. His ass ran 5 times for -8 yards. Just a dreadful day at the office. Nothing was working in the pass or the run. Props to Coach Diaz. Again, Darian Mensah was having none of that. 22 of 28 for 260 yards and 2 scores. Props to him. Also, if you're Syracuse, what do you have left at this point? I know, again, like I reiterated earlier, that you're down Steve Angeli, but that don't mean the O-line don't got to play no more. Just because Steve Angeli ain't there don't mean the D-line can just pack it in and give up. Yeah. How about the wide receivers? Y'all coming off tea time any soon? Anybody seen the running backs? Anybody seen some running back? Where them running backs at, man? Just because Steve is gone don't mean everybody can just pack it in and be like, well, we had a good 2025. We'll get them in 2026. Hell no. It don't work like that. At this point, I would have threatened every motherfucker scholarship and held up everybody's NIL payments. How y'all gonna have 105 penalties spotted to y'all and it's the best y'all got? Come on, man. Don't be weird all your life. Dun, 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 dun. Well, that's the show. Thank you all for joining us. We had a great time. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe button and share the content. This is Big Vern, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.